Okay, so your traditional Christian worldview, why should the listeners and the watchers of the podcast come get them some of your traditional Christian worldview?
Come get them some? Yeah. Well, if you're a Christian, I'll start with that camp.
Okay.
If you're a Christian that's saying, yeah, I'm a Bible believing, born again Christian, okay?
Mm-hmm.
If that's what you're saying about yourself, then I think that, the way that I, answered all 5 of those questions, or explained what the answer would be for all 5 of those questions. The Ahmed. Yeah, I think that's what you created there. And that hopefully you would agree with that and look into it, explore that further. And so that's what I would hope for you, for those individuals that hold, to a similar belief, that I do.
Okay, here's the question.
Okay.
How does Christian worldview filtered through Ahmed make life better for me on other side than any other worldview?
Yeah, so like if you're just saying I don't even hold a Christian worldview.
Right.
Okay.
I guess.
Okay.
Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do. Okay, so a couple things.
Like, how does shooting my Christian worldview through all these 5 things make me better at the end?
Okay.
In life.
Okay. I don't know if it makes you better. I don't know if I'd say it that way.
Okay.
What I would say is that, one, okay, you're not wrestling with the fact of how did we get here? God created. Okay.
Okay.
So now that you know that you have a creator, okay, now that next question of meaning and purpose, well, what is my purpose on this life that the creator has created me for? Like, why does he have me here on this earth? Okay. But now I'm not just sitting there wondering in like this abstract, vacuum of, well, why am I here? No, why am I here?
So it's comfort in the knowledge.
Yes, comfort in the knowledge. Like, why am I here? And it's not just why am I here? Why did the creator place me here? Right?
Okay.
And so therefore, as we read through scripture, we see his constant pursuit to be in relationship with mankind. That's the constant.
Okay.
And so from Genesis 1 and 2, where he's creating mankind, all the way to the end of Revelation 22, it's about his pursuit of mankind to be in relationship with them.
So why are we here?
So therefore, we know that we are here to be in relationship with a God who has created us for the purpose of relationship. For, out of his love for us, out of his own pleasure and his own desire. It wasn't because he needed us. It was because he actually wanted to create humanity in his likeness and his image to be in relationship with us.
So he created us so that we could hang out with him.
Yeah.
And then put us down here where it sucks.
Okay.
And it's really hard to do that.
Yeah. Okay. Well, so he created us for the purpose of being with him.
Why are we talking about every single thing of Christianity ever?
Yeah.
Like,
so
I gotta stop. I gotta shut up.
Yeah.
Keep going.
And so I would say that even so, this is for me. So even in the midst of life, because life can feel like, what is going on? Why is this happening? We do endure suffering and hardship and all those things. But for me, it's more of a comfort that I'm like, oh, but I know that there is a God who created me, who desired for me to be here at this time, in this place, in this situation. And it's ultimately for his glory, but it's also for my good. It's for me to be able to enjoy him and for me to be in a relationship with him. And he's with me in the midst of it. I would rather have the comfort of a God who's with me in the suffering and in the midst of the hardships than just, being an atheist, honestly, and saying, well, this stuff just all sucks. Guess I'll try to find my way through it and find some purpose or some meaning. And I understand some individuals will say, well, it's about my happiness. Other individuals will say, well, it's about, doing something, good for others, like leaving some kind of legacy, passing also. And I understand that's where they're coming from, but I actually think the Christian...
That's not good enough for me.
Yeah.
I don't give a shit about any of that.
Yeah, but for a Christian...
It's like, you're supposed to just do stuff because you're supposed to.
do.
I'm
Right.
like, no.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, but no, if we
I'll
know
just
God...
let you do better things for me. Like,
And then, I think that goes on into like the morality part, right? Like of how am I going to be in this world? And I think one of the cool things about Christ is he set an example for us through his sacrifice of laying down his life so that we would do the same for others, that we actually could lay down our lives for the well-being, the benefit of others, and that we're not living just for self. We're not living just for happiness, right? It's for something, it's for someone, our Creator, but it's also for larger humanity,
So we are doing nice things.
100%. I'd so, my wife and I, and we don't feel like we're heroes for this by any means. We took a week off to go serve at a camp, with kids who have pancreatitis. And part of it is because the pull for me as someone who had pancreatitis, I want to connect with these kids, but it's like also you want to serve them, you want to love them, you want to let them know they're cared for, and and be there to allow them just to have a good time, right? Like, and so it's just I think we do choose to serve, and so and then I go on to like the identity part. Well, in identity, again, my identity is so grounded and rooted in who I am as a child of God that like. I'm not caught up in trying to find an identity based upon what other people think of me or based upon temporal things that I can gain or statuses that I can achieve. Like that doesn't form my identity,
Or people that you bang.
Yeah. Right. Not worried about a body count over here, right? And then obviously in the destiny aspect, like that I know, like this is for me, all this for me. I know that at the end of the day, when I die, whenever that is, I know who I'm going to be with, and I know where I'm going to be for eternity.
And knowing all of these things, you think is making your life better.
100%.
Okay.
100%. Because I'm not sitting over there going, I wonder what's right or what's true or what's, like I'm not debating is there a God? There's not a God. What does the afterlife look like or not afterlife? If honest to God, if I was not following Jesus and I was just in a postmodern, worldview where morality was just like whatever, man, I'd probably be a jerk all the time.
I'd be out.
Because who cares, right? They'd just be like, I'm gone.
I'm gone.
So,
Sorry, everyone.
I just think,
but I'm not.
Right. And so I just think even a sense of hope, and I understand. You could be like, well, of course you think that way. It's just the kind of the opiate of the masses. But I'm like, no, but it's more than just a sense of hope. It's for me, it's real, it's true. This is what I know to be true, and this gives me encouragement, and I feel like it shapes the way that I am as a husband. I am as a father. I am, as a son to my parents. I feel like
as a white man.
That's right. Right? As a white man. And thank you for introducing critical theory again, right? Critical theory would be like, oh, whatever. You're just a white Christian. In other words, you hold the majority. You hold the power structure.
That's why you're happy.
That's why you're happy.
It's not God. That's why you're happy.
No, you're just enjoying your white privilege.
Right.
That's actually, so all that kind of stuff, that's actually critical theory.
And that's
so when I talk about critical
huge
theory,
clash of worldviews.
Massive clash of worldviews.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.